Look at the KLX crew here today, y'all. Got 4 KLXs about to rip up these trails. It's gonna be a fun day. I got just a couple of questions for you guys before we even start this ride, right? If you're around North Carolina and you ride a KLX 300, do you want me to try to put together a little meetup? Or we could just do like a KLX 300 takeover? That's question 1. If you want to, you know, leave it in the comments. Question 2 is, what are your favorite mods or performance upgrades that you've done to your KLX 300? Because, you know, we all have different styles of riding. We're all doing different things. And that's really what today's video is going to be about. You know, looking over these other KLX 300s, there are certain things that I've done that have helped me ride, you know, a lot for the type of riding I'm trying to do. So I want to go over my list of 5 things that kind of transformed my KLX 300 to be a pretty decent off-road beast. Number 1, and this one's completely free, and I highly recommend it if you want to do like some pretty serious off-roading, or just in general, honestly. Even on the road, it comes in handy. The secondary throttle plate, take that thing out. You're gonna get so much more throttle response. Let's make sure everyone's still with us. Hopefully it doesn't go through that. Yeah, that's my biggest recommendation. Take out the secondary throttle plate. It's completely free. I decided not to make a video on how to do that, but I will link to the one that I recommend by a guy named It's Turbo Time. He does a really great video on getting that secondary throttle plate out. You don't really need any special tools or anything. Just Japanese Phillips head bit, you know, and some patience, and you'll get that thing out. And there are charts and stuff that show, you know, the performance increase you'll get when you take the secondary throttle plate out. Basically, if you don't know, once you get into the mid RPM, the KLX 300 will just bog down on you, and you know, it makes hill climbs really hard. It makes off-road riding kind of difficult. And, you know, passing traffic if you're on the road. You need consistency. So, take that thing out. That's number 1. That's going to improve your ride so much. Number 2, if you're a big guy like me, suspension upgrade. You're going to need it. I'm way north of 200. I'm normally 280. And the stock suspension is no good for big guys like us. Honestly, just being honest. Kevin, you picked a hell of a trail for new riders, man. They did just fine. So really all I did to the KLX 300 was respring it for my weight as close as I could. So the front springs I replaced with Racetech springs, and the rear one I did from Cogent Dynamics. It was the thickest rated spring I could find without having a special order or anything, so went with that. I've been super happy with it. Like, it's holding up, it's hauling my big butt around. Look, you know, hit little jumps like that, don't feel it, it feels great. So suspension, if you're big like me, I think it's totally worth it. If you're, you know, way less than me, which a lot of people do, you know, I'd say maybe if you're sub 200, like, maybe just think about adjusting the preload. That might be enough for you, but if you feel like the suspension's too soft, consider respringing it, and you'll have a much better time off-road. The third one here, if you want to do off-road a lot, I think you go with the 13-tooth front sprocket. It gives you so much more torque. I did a separate video on that, a couple different common gearing options. The 13-tooth, I think it gives you like 11% more torque. which is incredibly useful when you're out here doing things like this. So right now I'm running 13 in the front, 42 tooth rear, because I decided to really focus on off-road. But yeah, even just swapping to a 13 tooth is going to give you so much more torque. You are going to lose top speed. Let's ask Kevin if he's on stock gearing. Kevin, you still got a 14 tooth front sprocket?
13.
You got the 13.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that?
I like it.
Yeah, big difference, right? Got a lot more torque?
Yep, yep.
That's the way to go.
Yep.
Oh, mean green. You know, Kevin brought out a couple of newer riders, and I think he chose a pretty difficult one for their first ride up. Oh, you know, I've been up here before. See that view? All right, we'll take a little break here, and then I'll get into number 4. If you've ever seen the video where I was stranded when my chain guide broke and my chain came off, this is where it was at. So number 4, for me, probably a debate. It's got to be the seat concept seat. Man, when you take this KLX 300 on a long trip or a long trip through the woods or anything like that, your butt and your back is gonna be hurting. No way around it. So for me, the seat concept seat was a huge improvement, especially if you ever want to pal around with like your ADV buddies. That was the breaking point for me. We did like a, I don't know, 200-mile day or something, but it took like 6 hours of riding, a lot of pavement, a lot of gravel roads, and I came back from that ride and my tailbone was hurting for about 2 days. So, uh-oh. That was a good one. It's a good part about having friends with you. They can pull you out. Oh. Oh. Remember what those tires looked like, because that's going to be number 5. Maybe one of the most important things I think you can do to the KLX 300 is put better tires on it. It comes stock with the Dunlop 605s, and if you get into any sort of wet terrain, those tires will lay you down. They cake up with mud fast, and then they just lose all traction and you're going down. See, he's sliding right there, but I'm going right through this. So I have 2 separate recommendations for the best tires that I like to run on this bike. We're gonna pull over here a little bit, I think. So if I'm doing like true dual sporting, like spending a lot of time on pavement to get to the trails off-road, I run the Pirelli MT 21 front and Dunlop 606 rear, and those tires have done really, really good for dual sporting. When you want to do kind of crazy stuff like this, I mount some enduro tires that my buddy Dalton told me about, IRC 33S. If I'm getting that wrong, I will link to all this stuff in the description, so to make sure I'm giving you the right information. But so that is what I run in the rear, and that one's a total game changer. Like, I'm getting up things and through things and around things that I'm just not used to on dual sport tires. And then the front tire, I'm running a Shinko Fatty Cheater tire. I will put links to it in the description so you guys can find it. And those tires, if you're doing like intense off-road riding, those ones are the best ones I could recommend for the KLX 300. So yeah, riding with a bunch of cool people today. Got like, 4 KLX 300s out here, just having a blast out in these woods. The thing about the KLX 300 is you can do so many different things to them to suit your different ride style. Maybe those guys prefer street, you know? maybe they're going to be on street more than me. So they don't necessarily need to run these like super aggressive off-road tires. You know, there's just so many different options for the KLX 300, and I'll link to all the things that I use down below. And yeah, I'm good. I'll link to all the things I use down below. But yeah, just 5 things, you know, that I think are super beneficial for the KLX 300. There's never been a better time to get into dual sport riding or the KLX 300, I feel like, because Kawasaki is making them even more affordable. The KLX 300 is not going to let you down. More and more people are picking them up, and I think that is really cool. I love to see that, because these bikes are just a blast. But yeah, guys, real important, if you live in the Southeast and you want to do a KLX 300 takeover at Uwharrie National Forest, let me know. Again, that's Uwharrie National Forest. I know some of y'all have to travel a good distance, but leave it in the comments if you guys want to meet up and just rip a bunch of KLX 300s out here. I think it would be such an awesome time. So, that being said, if you're interested in dual sports or the KLX 300, please subscribe. It helps my channel out so much. I also ride a KLR 650, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of moto camping this summer. So, subscribe. Let's do a KLX takeover. And I'll catch you on the next one.